Hey there, you beautiful souls. Welcome to the Authentic You podcast, where we dive deep into the power of authenticity and the journey to rediscovering your true self. I'm your host, Kristina Holle, and I'm beyond excited to embark on this transformative journey with you. Ever wonder how authenticity impacts relationship, career choices, and overall well-being? Well, wonder no more, because the Authentic You is your compass on this incredible adventure. So what can you expect from our show? Well, picture this: heart-to-heart conversation, inspiring stories, expert insights on the importance of authenticity. We're going to tackle the masks we wear, the societal expectations we navigate, and guide you back to the essence of who you truly are. The Authentic You podcast, where real stories meet real talk. Get ready to shine your light and live authentically. We are talking about believing in yourself and owning your greatness. So I want you to sit back right now and take a deep breath and ask yourself, what would your life look like if you truly believed in yourself? What would that look like to you? And I think that's a really profound question. I'm talking about not just on the good days, I'm talking about all of it. Even when things are not going right, what if you still believed in yourself in those seconds or those moments? Every single day, when doubt tried to creep in, you still believe in yourself. You still empower yourself in a way that you can be who you need to be. Doubt can't really exist if you believe in yourself. And I want you to think about, maybe you're in a great spot now. Think about chapters in your life that maybe you didn't believe in yourself. Maybe you shortchanged yourself. Maybe you gave your power away to other people. You needed other people to tell you to believe in yourself. And it's great when we have that. I know I've seen that throughout my history, for myself and even with others. Sometimes other people see your greatness before you see it in yourself. But I want you to understand we all have greatness in us. And if anyone's laughing at you because you believe in yourself, then you can really debunk it. Because if you really have belief on that deeper level, it doesn't matter what they say. The only person who truly needs to believe in you is you. Why don't you think about that? Have you made promises to yourself and let yourself down because you didn't feel as though you were worthy enough? And I think we've all experienced it. And now this is the time where we need to reflect and see whether or not it's serving us. Because when we believe in ourselves, amazing things will happen. So let's think about, what are some reasons why we may have not believed in ourselves? I'll tell you that you're not alone. We've all been there. It could be fear of failure. Oh, what if I don't succeed? Maybe past mistakes. I messed up before. What if I do it again? That negative voice. People have told me I'm just not good enough. So why would I think I'm good enough? And it's interesting. I'll never forget, I was running a retreat and there was a woman who did some great work, and she was feeling great. And she was worried about going back home because she was feeling so confident. She was believing in herself. She was seeing her capability, a glimpse of her capability of what she could do. And she was worried about going home to her family or others who were going to tell her, well, look at you. You think you're so full of yourself now. You're so good. And it honestly, when I heard that, that made me sad. But it is a reality that people may have told you some way on your path that you're not good enough. Then you start creating narratives that you believe that you're not good enough. But what if you surround yourself with people who tell you you're amazing? You are good enough. You can do this. Let's break through the barrier and get through to the other side. When you have family members that might say, hey, look at you, you think you're so good. Just remember this. That is not about you. That is about them. And sometimes when we shine very bright, it reflects parts in other people that may not be doing the work to shine as bright. So when we understand that, then we can not allow it to sway us from our belief in ourselves. Another one, and I used to see this in work all the time, people comparing themselves to everyone else. I think that is the biggest deflator. You will never be satisfied if you are in this space where you are comparing your life to other people, looking how far that you've come in comparison to them. Ask yourself, is that serving you? Because when we get into that competitive state, and I love a good competition, but I would argue that the competition should be with yourself. It should not be about knocking down other people in order for you to get ahead. When we start listening to other people or we start comparing ourselves, we could put ourselves in a position where we're starting to not believe in ourselves. We look at someone else and we say, wow, they can do it. I can never do that. But that's not true. That's simply not true. So when we understand we need to stop comparing ourselves to others for validation, then we need to remember that when we do that, we are protecting ourselves. We're protecting our power. We're protecting our greatness. We are believing in ourselves and our capability, because it really doesn't matter how other people show up in all of this. All that matters is how you show up. And ask yourself, does it make you feel better or does it make you feel worse? Some of you may say to me, Kristina, it does make me feel better because I know what the goal is. I want to be like X, Y, and Z. So be it. If that's your goal, then you see it and that's with the direction you want to go. But if you're constantly comparing, you are negating what you could potentially be bringing to the table, all your gifts that you could be bringing to your table. And in fact, you could go beyond that. So there's a story that I know I've mentioned it in previous conversations, but there is a football story. I love football movies. I can sit there and watch them over and over and over again. I feel inspired because it's always somehow breaking through a cap of what they are capable of doing. So there was a coach and a football team, and they were having to run the field as an exercise. But the exercise was a little bit different because they were going to do the crab crawl across a 100-foot field with someone on their back as some sort of conditioning or training. And everyone was like, Coach, we can't do this. This is too much. We won't be able to get there. We can only get to this part. Well, if you feel as though that's the cap, that's all you can do, so be it. But I'm going to challenge you. Let's try something new. Let's line everybody up. And so the team is lined up with their partners. And they are about to crawl a 100-foot football field and see how far. Maybe they'll get to the 25th line. Who knows? But he challenged them where he had one teammate that had a blindfold on. He had a blindfold and his other teammates did not. Can you imagine having to carry someone on your back crawling to do an entire football field? This seems absolutely insane. It doesn't look like it could be done. So on your marks, get set, go. So they're all going. They hit the 10-foot line. They hit the 15-foot line. They hit the 25-foot line. And once they hit the 25-foot line, the individuals that could see capped out. They stopped at that point. So they're stopping. But the person that is blindfolded has no idea that anybody else stopped. He thinks that he's still in the race. And he keeps going. And he has the coach saying, you got this, almost there, with no cap as to what that looks like. And he actually did the entire field without even knowing. So the point of me sharing that story, it speaks to me because he didn't have a comparison. His eyes were closed or blindfolded. He just went with his full capacity and just kept going. And when he did that, he exceeded what the mind would have told him, where the mind would have told him to stop. So if he was comparing to others, he would have stopped. Those individuals that could see and they were comparing to each other, they stopped. They had mentally told themselves at the 20-foot line that they would stop. And they did. If you start comparing yourself to other people, it's automatically going to mess with your mojo. Because you start getting in your own way. And this is where I really want it to be clear and concise. The only thing that you need to be laser focused in on is what your goal is and where you want to go. And not worried about whether or not you're there yet. There's all these different stages of getting there. And everybody's at different points. So sometimes we look at people's lives and we go, oh, I want that. I want to be successful. I want all the houses. I want all the money. I want all of this. But we don't really understand the whole story behind that. We only see the end product, but we didn't see all the struggle and all the belief that that person had to stay focused to their goal in order to get there. And I think we need to remember that. Instead of just looking for that quick fix for the end, just remember anything that is worthwhile is going to take time. The richness comes when we get through our limiting beliefs and we push through to the other side. Why? Because you start to believe in yourself. It's not just a token word, oh, I believe in myself. No. We really learn how to believe in ourselves when we dig deep and we get out of it. And when we get out of it, it's like, I can do this. Have you ever experienced something like that? Where you come out on the other end and you're like, how did I get out of this? But I did it. And that's because you had grit. You woke up every day, you kept going. So that football player that was doing the army crawl just gave his all and did not get caught up in the restriction. He just believed that I'm going to give it my best. And when we are in that space, we're always going to exceed what we expect from ourselves. Our mind has a tendency of limiting us for many different reasons. But when we can learn to bypass the mind and kick into the heart and believe in ourselves, that is a game changer, my friends. That's why when they say, I don't know why today we're talking about sports analogies, but that's why they say, oh, look at that player. He plays with heart. We should be playing our life with heart. That's where we believe in ourselves. We're tapping into something bigger beyond the mental capacity. Mental capacity is an accomplishment. Yes, you can get there. That's the goal. But when it gets down to the push, the shove, the adversity, the toughness, it takes heart to get beyond that. And that is the belief part of it. I believe I can do this. I'm not going to just sit down and give up. Because when we do that, there is such power. Think about that. Back to the question I posed to you when we started this conversation. What would your life look like if you fully believed in yourself? from day one? If you had no doubt on this path, what would it look like? And when we think about that pattern, think about the exposure of the things that would come to you if you did not stop. You can start believing yourself today. But I want you to think about those moments in your life where you may have gotten in your own way. Even things, a little bit of self-doubt, like, who do I think I can do this? We secretly say those comments to ourselves. Well, I'm here to counter that. You can do it. You can have the life whatever you desire. It's there right now. But the key is you have to believe it. I can believe it for you, but if you're not believing it for yourself, you may struggle. It's kind of like not being on a solid foundation. When we believe in ourselves, this is why I have been doing all this work around authenticity. Now I fully believe in myself. There's a deeper knowing. But in the past, I believed in myself for certain parts. But I was still rocky. And I know I was rocky because you get yourself in situations where you may be manipulated, you might be triggered in certain situations, you may not be showing up as your best self. That's not being grounded in foundation with who you are. And when we understand that, so there's that integration piece. It's interesting. I was extremely successful in corporate, but corporate was only serving a part of me, not all of me. Now I can sit here and have this conversation with you from a holistic standpoint. And I wish this for everybody. It's possible because it's real. When you believe from this place, it is unstoppable. You can do whatever you really want to do. That self-doubt is not going to creep in. You would never question whether or not you can do it because it's a part of who you are. It's your birthright. You're meant to have greatness in your life. Every time one of these thoughts come in, they're really lies that you're telling yourself. False narratives, that stories that we've told ourselves over the years, that things are only good for others, but they're not necessarily good for us. But that's simply not true. I will tell you throughout our lives, not many people have told us that story. And that's not any fault of their own. It's just the behavior has been repeated. There's very few that are countering this story. Because if you truly believe in yourself, if we had a world that totally believed in themselves and we were operating from a place that was pure and we had worked through our stuff and we're truly showing up from our authentic truth, we would avoid a lot of issues. When we see people where we're navigating in certain places and it's not pretty, or we're lower vibrational, we might be jealous or gossiping or fearful. That's because we have not really stepped into our power. That's because we don't believe in ourselves fully. So it's about going deeper and trusting who you are and knowing that you'll figure it out. And your past does not define you. Remember this. Your past is about your experiences. And what you do with your past is really the defining moment. Because you are writing your own story. You are carrying your own narratives into the future. What is the narrative that you tell yourself now? I will tell you, the narrative that I told myself in the past versus the narrative I tell myself now, totally different. They are not the same. And I'm so grateful to me that I chose to have the courage to go on it. Because the part that shifts when you really believe in yourself, you're not proving yourself. There's a difference. You are not proving yourself to other people, your existence, your importance. That doesn't happen anymore. You believe in your purpose, you believe in your path, wherever that may be. You know that you are enough just as you are. When we don't have to prove ourselves to other people, then the poor behavior doesn't come in. Then you just show up. You show up and you can command the space. You know that you will fall, but you'll pick yourself up. You know that you can navigate, you can pivot, you can do whatever's required to get you to the next level, to your North Star, as I always say. What is your goal? Where do you want to be? And we all have a North Star. But are you honest about your North Star? Or did someone else tell you what your North Star should be? So I want you to think about that today. Because if you believe in yourself, you believe in your goal, you know where you're going, and the outside influence doesn't really matter the way that you think that it matters. I'll give you some real life example of people who believed in themselves. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers before she finally published Harry Potter. Can you imagine if she let self-doubt stop her? And she went all the way. She was extremely poor. She had no money. She was barely getting by. But she did not stop because she believed in her vision. She believed in her path as to where she was going. And when we understand that, it's not because it was given to her. It's because she believed in herself. She believed in where she was going. And when we step into that kind of power, we shift into a whole different place. How about Walt Disney? Fired from a newspaper. He was told that he was lacking creativity. And now his name is all around imagination and success. Empire, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy. And then it expands and expands and expands. We've got Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear. I know them all because I have kids. But the point is, thank goodness he didn't stop, because it was legacy building. Same thing with J.K. Rowling. My kids and I have both enjoyed from that inspiration. That they were strong enough that they didn't give up and they still believed and they kept going. When you think about that power of these leaders, when they don't stop, then you realize that there's a greater impact. We all have moments where it can kick in. But if you're really doing the work and you really are loving who you are and you love where you're going and you see the vision and you feel like, I need to have this life, and you will know the deciding point. If you are at a point where you're feeling dissatisfaction in your life, or that you're irritable, you're starting to get jealous of other people, you've got the resentment bubble growing, that means that you're not aligned. And that's okay. But let's be honest about that. Because you have the power that you can pivot. It could be something small, but you keep going. I always say, keep going, keep growing towards your North Star, whatever that may be. And when we think about Walt Disney or and how they didn't stop, that's amazing to me, because they had every opportunity to stop. They had people tell them, no, you're not good enough. Another one is Oprah. She was told that she was not fit for television. And look at the empire that she's grown, and look at all the people and lives that she's touched. But if she listened to the person who said that she wasn't fit for television, and she was like, okay, you're right, and she didn't believe in herself, Oprah wouldn't exist. We need these visionaries, these people, and you are one of them. Because who knows what you have inside of you that is yet to come out? Who knows how you're going to inspire the planet, what you're going to bring? But we have to get you first to a place where you believe that you can do this. I believe in you. I know that you have great capability inside of you right now. And we just don't know where it's going to go. I'm actually very excited to see. But there has to be an openness to go on the explore and almost to be ruthless about the vision. Just because someone else doesn't like it, it doesn't mean it's not meant to happen. The question should always be, how do I feel about this? Am I connected to this? Do I feel inspired? Is this the vision? Do I want to go this way? Do I believe in myself enough to do it in the face of other people when they may laugh at you and think, oh, you're crazy. Why would you do that? Successful career in HR, worked very hard. My entire life was around that. And the status and the promotions. I was responsible for a country, and then it expanded, and then I had other responsibilities for out in the UK, all this stuff. And the reason why I tell you this, not to go, oh, wow, Kristina, it doesn't matter. The point of the story is when I shifted to write a book, to run retreats, to have this whole coaching program where I'm helping organizations and individuals, some people laughed at me. They're like, oh, Kristina, you're having a Jerry Maguire moment. I don't know if you guys know Jerry Maguire, but it's literally that's been said to me. And I had to go, well, and I giggled. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But he took that one client, he took him right to the top. And I have joy and I believe in myself in a very different way. I share this story because this is not just for celebrity. They're celebrity now, but they had their fair share of stuff. Serena Williams faced racism, criticism, obstacles. She was told that she wasn't good enough. Serena Williams. She's one of the greatest athletes of all time. Any of the greats, I believe, Michael Jordan, he didn't make the grade 9 basketball team. Think about that. Jordan, this is my point. All of these people that decided to keep going, Steve Jobs is another one. He got fired. He was told that his ideas weren't enough. Meanwhile, he's the founder of Apple. Legacy building. But these are people that have chosen to break free from self-doubt. There's something different inside, not different with them. Different in the way that they handle their life. They learn how to do different things, and you are capable of doing this. This is why I want to share this with all of you. Can you imagine what you will be doing if you can break free? And I'm here to tell you, you can. It excites me so much to be able to share this with you. And whoever needs to hear it loud and clear. Believe in yourself, and you will live the life that you've always desired. Because you can do it. So how do we break free from this self-doubt? How do you start shaking it up for yourself? There's a couple of things. I would start reframing your failures. Remember, they are proof you can actually learn and get yourself back up. The key is when you fail, get back up. Do not stop. Because you never know what's around the corner. You could be almost there. You have to keep going. If you believe in the life that you really desire, if you're believing in yourself, you have to just keep going. And do not wait for it to be perfect. Because if you are waiting for it to be perfect, you may not make a move. You might just sit there waiting and talk about one day this will happen. I'd rather you make a move, it not be perfect, you pick yourself back up, you regroup, and you keep going. That to me is powerful. So think about these leaders as normal, but they're complete, iconic, legendary leaders. They did not stop. They picked themselves back up. They started believing in themselves. Replace negative talk with positive talk. When you're talking to yourself, would you talk to your children the same way that you were speaking to yourself? And if the answer is no, then that needs to be the first thing that you change. The first. How can you believe in yourself if you are knocking yourself down all the time? What's the point? Doesn't make any sense. So if you catch yourself, even today, doing a little bit of the negative self-talk, stop in the moment, reframe. I don't know, I can't do this. You would reframe it and you would say, I'm learning and I can't do it yet, but I'll get there. Do you see the difference? I would say this, it's time to provide some love towards yourself so you can believe in yourself. Be kind in the words that you share. And start to take action. Baby steps, but start to move forward away from doubt. So maybe I don't know how to do this one thing completely, but I can research it. I can try. I can put my ideas down on a piece of paper. I can journal. Do you see how they're all steps? Moving yourself towards this North Star, whatever that is. But when we get so locked into, well, I can never be an Oprah, or I can never be an author, J.K. Rowling's. I would never want you to be an Oprah or a J.K. Rowling's, or whatever that is for you. I want you to be you. And I want you to be able to access this amazing power that resides in you right now. Surround yourself with belief. People that will lift you up and remind you of who you are and the greatness that you offer the world. And we all have them. Maybe it's someone who's seen you help someone in need. Maybe it's someone who you've helped. But sometimes we all need a little bit of a pick-me-up or the reminder. And I get them too. Sometimes when I'm in the zone and I'm like, and when I get in the zone, I really can get into the zone. But someone will say, Kristina, these retreats, they're transformational. I'm like, oh, but if I didn't follow through on the vision, those retreats don't happen. And those people aren't impacted. And it's not about me. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. It is not about me. It's about the inspiration and the idea that comes to life. It happens to be channeled through me to make it happen. But this is, you all have that in you right now. Do you understand that? So you all have that. So whatever that idea is, whatever that belief is, it's continuing with baby steps and perhaps the explore that it may come to life, because you do not know who else is going to be impacted by your belief in yourself. When we understand that, it is so powerful, and we all have them. We all have these things inside of us that we're like, oh, that would be great to do this, or I really feel I could make a big impact here. Then go do it. But first, before you get there, I want you to start believing that you can do it, because you can. Power. So it's one thing to be like, yes, Kristina, I have power. But what are you going to do with it? Are you going to take action? Are you going to do something great? And it could be a big thing. It could be something small. Maybe it's impacting your neighbor, or impacting your family. But if you've got something in you that's bubbling and you want to do more, and you're waiting for this to come forward, you're waiting for the right opportunity, or maybe if I 30 pounds, I could go do that. Or maybe if I get the education, I could go do that. Don't wait. The education, or if it is the weight loss, or whatever it is that you need to do before you get there, then perhaps enroll in the school, or enroll in Noom, or a weight loss program, or enroll in whatever it is. But these are baby steps to take action, to move away from self-doubt, because the doubt is not serving you. And we know that. But I'm trying to provide you space to understand, and examples to see that you have potential right now to break free. The time is right now. If you're asking yourself, what are you waiting for? There's no more playing small. Life is short, guys. So you want to make sure that you're maxing out while you're here, whatever that is for you. What are your dreams? Because your dreams are choosing you for a reason. They choose you. Your dream and my dream are very different. Or maybe they're the same. Who knows? But they have chosen you. Now, will you listen to the call? Or will you dismiss it? Your vision is yours because you are the one that's meant to bring it to life. You are the one who's meant to pull it in from inspiration to manifestation. So will you do that today? Think about that. I've got Peter in queue. I'm going to bring Peter up.
Take a sip of coffee, relax. So I'm listening to you, well on fire. I'm in the midst of doing what I do, and as I'm listening to you, I just can't help but think about the person or the people who are hearing this message, maybe for the third, fourth, or fifth time, or maybe every time they tune into Kristina, they hear it and they get unsettled. They want to get up and move, and then they freeze after the show's over with. I think the most important things is do exactly what you're talking about, and that's just take baby steps. Do something. Just that momentum of the little things is much stronger than we can possibly imagine. So there's nothing to do really but to start. And it's exactly what you're saying. I come up here with nothing new under the sun, but exactly what you're saying, and in support of it, because it really does make the difference when you just start to take steps. If you wait for the right time, guess what? Yeah, it's not going to happen. So I think it's really just important to take one today. Take one step. Don't worry about that. Just do one step towards your goal, whatever that is, and get moving. And so I can listen to you. I can read books. I can go to seminars. But the bottom line is, if I don't take that and put it into play, if I don't take the action, then nothing changes in my life. A year from today, I'll be listening to Kristina Holle with the same amazing voice, with the same amazing wisdom, knowledge, and motivation, but nothing changed in my life. And for me, the bigger picture is this. Can you imagine if you, Kristina, didn't decide to take that step? Think about more than a few weeks ago, you had this amazing event and you lit it up, right? When you spoke in that women's conference. And you met the lives that you've changed. That to me is really the backstory that becomes a headline. Because there's people in your life, yes, whoever's listening, that need you to get your dreams accomplished. If there's lives that you're going to affect by changing your life, fulfilling your purpose, and fulfilling your dreams, it's not all about you. It's not all about me or Kristina, but it's about the lives that we can touch.
That honestly, Peter, that speaks to my heart, because I actually was quite emotional after the talks, because I had women coming up to me and really sharing, we're calling out those dreams because
Right.
they're meant to help the higher collective,
Yeah.
to increase consciousness, to know that you do have a path and
Right.
that you have to answer the call. And when that happens, amazing things happen. With those stories with the women's show, I gave it all. I was emotional. I couldn't believe it. And it was. And I had women that would want to speak to me privately about situations, because when we can witness this experience and see people who have been hiding forever, it's priceless. It opens a door, but it only happens if you answer the call.
And I can literally feel the energy, because I've been there when I'm hearing the Kristinas of the world talk, and I get up out of my chair and I move around. There's something stirring in me. It won't rest because I'm hearing this woman's voice, and what she's saying is the truth. Mm-hmm. This is happening for a reason, men, women. This is happening for a reason. Can you imagine if you decided to play it safe and stay in corporate? Life would have went on just fine, but you stepped into a different purpose.
And it's beautiful because it's truth. We're talking truth right now.
And everybody's got a story. Everybody has a story. And if you don't know mine, here's part of it. After a bad accident a decade ago, I got really hooked on prescription pain medication. I ended up losing everything. I was homeless. Listen to me. I was homeless in my Range Rover Sport, shoplifting because I was too proud to go to social services to get a food card, right? And I got into recovery, and it's fast forward to today. I'm a recovery coach. I help men and women get their lives together. But if you had asked me just after I got clean, is my life ever going to turn around? I'm going to say, hell no, because I blew it up. I lit the fuse. I was a police officer. I went to Homeland Security, and then I had this accident, and then I had felonies. Like, my life is over with. And I could just acquiesce to that and played it safe. But I'm like, no, I'm going to get a microphone and start talking about the things that happened in my life. And I did that. And I got out of my comfort zone. One of the things I didn't like doing, because I had dyslexia, stuttered, getting behind the mic, you can probably still hear it, is a thing for me, right? But I pushed myself to do it, not because I'm so courageous, but I know that I need to do it to get the message, get my purpose fulfilled in that particular area. So if you're hearing this either live or on the replay, it's not about me, it's about we. And part of that we is Kristina, and she keeps coming up and bringing it. Guys, I get it. It seems like you're looking at Kristina, all these things that she's done are just absolutely fantastic. But she started right where you're at right now with a decision, and she made the decision. And that's really all it is. Once you've made that decision, you don't have to feel like the world is on fire. You don't have to go play Rocky music. The only thing you have to do today is make a move, just one move, and that's it.
So powerful. And Peter, yes, I want to just acknowledge, one, it does take courage. It takes so much courage for you to step forward and share your story. We were all scared about sharing our stories where there's pain and we might be rejected. But do you see the power that happens? Yeah. You're inspiring people right now. I listen to you and I'm like, man, I like you more.
You're so sweet.
I like you more. I'm not even, this is the real deal.
Because you're my soul sibling, as Kristen Brown says. You talk about a proud brother when you came and you talked about the experience that you had when you spoke. And I think at the time it even surprised you. It took you back a bit, the lives you touch. But that just speaks to the power that we have. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the lives that we can change. And in the process of that, right, we are blessed or given good fortune of it. But that's why I love this community, because like all day long, as I'm going through my vocation, through my day, I can just turn it on and pop an ear pod in, and then Kristina Holle speaking. And right there, she says exactly what this man needs to hear. And maybe what I know and I teach every day, but I needed to be reminded about it. I needed to be told in my year at that particular present moment. And it's just really, really powerful.
And I would say this, we're all a part of it. We're different cogs in the wheel, and we speak to different people. So if I inspire you, you are inspiring others. Do you see the magic, the globe that's going to cover with the healing energy that's happening? This is why believing in yourself and shifting and owning your story and getting out of the darkness so you can go do what you need to do is a form of liberation and freedom. It's really setting everything free.
And we really have a responsibility to participate in our purpose. We really do. So thanks for letting me share the stage for a few.
So great chatting. And Peter, my goodness, my heart is full. And I really want to say this before I go to the next guest, but thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for helping people see that things happen, but you have a choice to still show up. And you show up every day. And you've broken past that narrative of like, oh, my life is over. Your life is never over due to your circumstances. It's all about choices that you make. And perhaps this was the path that you were supposed to be on, to be able to inspire and be here on the planet right now, to be able to help people love themselves and believe in themselves and understand that we don't need to be, this is about self-acceptance. But if we're hiding, and myself included, it took me forever to share my stories. I had so much shame. But if we're hiding behind them, then we are only nurturing the masks. We are not nurturing the soul. And that is the whole point. When we're believing in ourselves, we're nurturing our souls. We're allowing ourselves to understand that, hey, we're here to learn. Boy, did I ever learn a lot. But I will never judge you, or I'll never put you in a bucket and say that you're not good enough because of your circumstances. I actually think that all these stories are meant to unlock now. My colorful story, those choices that I made, is to help others see that no matter your circumstances, that you are meant to speak up and you're meant to share because you are going to inspire and you're going to help others. And talking to all of you, but I also think it resonates with myself. But like you said, Peter, if I didn't make the move, where would we be? You guys will be doing your thing, but where would I be? I'd probably be very dissatisfied, going on the treadmill and still trying to get the world to tell me that who I am and that more money, more things, more material things are going to define who I am. The identity is wrong. Our identity is in core. It's through honoring the essence who we are. And when we understand that, then we're unstoppable. Then we show up in a way that you're going to blow your mind. Then you come up on the stage and you share your story with confidence, not from victimhood. It doesn't mean it wasn't hard. But you come up and you believe in yourself where you're like, yeah, this happened. And this is who I am today. And these are the choices that I've made. And when you do that, I absolutely like you more. And because I believe that's how you get depth. I believe that's how you learn and really navigate through life. I've lived it for 30 years. When we're trying to hide those parts of ourselves, you're only living a fraction of your life. So I want you to think about that today. So what we're talking about is empathy. We are learning to empathize for each other and help each other grow into who we're supposed to be. But when we were hiding our stories or hiding who we are, we limit our capacity to empathy because we are still pretending to be a fraction of ourselves. But when you can take the masks down and we can start to see, I can empathize with Peter, or I can empathize with others, and he can empathize with me. And what happens is that it builds a momentum and something really powerful happens. You're not operating alone anymore. And then you're going to start to do some bigger change in the world. We're going to be compassionate and inspiring and accepting. We are going to empower each other to show up in the world to make change. It's happening. We're here right now. And that's why these conversations are so strong and so powerful. So I'm going to bring my next guest up, Tess. and see what Tess has to say.
Kristina, I'm really enjoying your program so far today. It's been extremely inspiring, and I just thought I would jump in for a minute.
Thank you. Please share.
So, oh gosh, I think you are totally on just a lot of things that I've been pondering myself over the last for the last year, as far as trying to reach my potential or just in general trying to help other people to reach their potentials. I do believe that we all have a purpose, and a big part of that purpose is learning, but also teaching others through our experiences. Mm-hmm. Having grown up in a family where you had to be perfect, and if you made a mistake, it was like horrible. I had that complex for a long time until I hit my early 30s, and I said, I'm just going to start being myself. And if people don't like it, too bad.
Yeah, seriously, it's great.
So, and a lot of times there was you weren't allowed to achieve more than other people. There was a contest. Mm-hmm. I was, being a female in my family, one of the first females that actually decided to pursue an education. I came from a bad situation. I was a teen mom who was living on welfare for about 2 years and struggling to get out of that whole system. So I put myself through school and struggled very hard, but I knew I needed to take better care of myself and my son. Later on, working my way up the corporate ladder within a couple of different great companies. And I can say today I have my master's degree. I own my own business.
Wow.
And I'm really glad that I did not listen to other people telling me I couldn't do it, or that little voice inside my head saying I wasn't good enough. So I just want to tell anybody out there that has a dream, you need to really look inward and see what is it that you feel you need to do and get that out there. Be your authentic self. Don't be afraid of being judged by others, or they may put you down. And a lot of times they do that is because they themselves feel not very confident in themselves. And so they try to drag you down to their level and discourage you. So if there's people in your life that are like that, just shut them out and listen to people like yourself, Kristina, and people like Peter, who has an incredibly inspiring story. Mm-hmm. Just start tapping into the positive energy and people around you that you need to move forward. So that's really all I had to share. But
I honestly, I'm so happy that you shared, because this is my point. You sharing your story with where the shame was, right? Oh, I was a teen mom and this. Yes, you were, but you don't know who you're inspiring in the group by saying that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's debunking this toxic shame about these decisions or things that have happened in our lives. And when we have examples, your example is perfect. And I think it takes courage to be able to share. This is the point. The more people that we can share these stories out, you'll understand you don't need to wait for celebrity. Just realize that there's people around all over who are warriors and fighting through the odds and really being successful and doing their thing. And I want to give you that kudos. You're doing great stuff.
Absolutely right. Don't let people around you or the culture or the values that were forced upon you as a young person, do not let them stop you from doing what you believe in yourself. To be able to do the talents, the gifts, the knowledge, the experiences you have are extremely valuable to other people.
It's not coming from victimhood. It's coming from being the victor. You are winning. You're the hero in your story. And you're showing up in a way that it's inspiring other people.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're always welcome, Tess. Thank you so much for coming up. It's so beautiful because I really want to say thank you to all my guests on all my shows. They show up in a place of vulnerability, authenticity, and truth. And I realize that it's because I'm showing up that way. We reflect what we see in others. Thank you for reflecting that back, because there's such beauty in every single one of your stories, every single one of you. And when we understand that, that's the difference. I'm not trying to be someone so you like me. I'm trying to be here so we can work on the movement to be who we're supposed to be. And so you can start unlocking your gifts, whatever that is. Like I said, your dream chooses you. The empathy starts spreading. That is love. And as we say, love wins. We are all growing together. And it's not even, this is a real thing energetically. As I heal, you heal. As you heal, others heal. It is a part of a bigger shift in a movement. So when I'm asking you to start believing in yourself, even when the doubt creeps in, understand that there is a bigger purpose going on right now. And this is a part of the shift that's required with all these changes that are going on in the world. We need people to step in and believe in themselves and not just necessarily listen to what other people are telling us or marching orders and how we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to show up. It's really understanding who you are so you can show up in a way to empower others so they can step into their power. This is about you understanding and unlocking that connection to yourself, deeper level, which is absolutely amazing.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and behind the scene contents. And if you have any suggestions about future topics or guests, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, remember, stay curious, keep learning, and never stop exploring the fascinating world around you. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.